distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a great honor and privilege to be here today and to present before you some thoughts on issues which have not been captured so very well in our national priorities, and to create some ripples in the thinking process to highlight some of very important issues arising because of climate change primarily, and also environment, and also to show you an opportunity angle, because Pakistan normally has been conceived as one of the most vulnerable countries to climate change, the most impacted countries for the last 22 decades, 20 years. And for this purpose, ladies and gentlemen, we plan to present before you a presentation primarily in 2 or 3 parts. I would like to, the first part would be climate change impacts on oceans, and putting before you some opportunity angle. This will be a fairly shorter part. The second part is an interactive atlas, which was developed by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, a UN organization, where Pakistan played a very prominent role. This atlas would be presented by my co-presenter, Mr. Muhammad Amjad. In fact, this presentation also has a third part. And diving deep into the issue, Dr. Asif Inam would be presenting a case study based on the specific coast of Karachi. And just for the information of those who have not heard of IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, it was established in the 90s, 96, 97 by United Nations Environment Program and World Meteorological Organization. And the need came out of the Rio Declaration, where there were observations regarding climate change, but it required scientific evidence. So all three, and I would also like to highlight all three of us have been part of the IPCC cycle, which is AR6, Assessment Report 6 cycle currently, and we have contributed to the whole process. So very proudly, Pakistan has played its part in the IPCC cycle. So ladies and gentlemen, coming to the impacts of climate change, for the last 2 years, you must have observed Pakistan getting one disaster after the other in the shape of forest fires, heat waves, floods, droughts, gulfs, and Pakistan has appeared on the global radar of climate-induced disasters. It was one of the opportunity which Pakistan availed, and the Honorable Minister was very ably able to get a decision on loss and damage during the last COP, for which the whole developing world community is thankful to Pakistan. And I would take this opportunity to thank you, Madam, for your excellent contribution the globe has recognized. So ladies and gentlemen, all these disasters which we saw during 2020 and 2021, they were primarily terrestrial disasters. I I have put before you a list of 7 disasters which are marine related or ocean related disasters, but they never appeared during any media discussion or anywhere in our priorities. For example, sea level rise is happening right now. It was happening yesterday. It will happen tomorrow as well. And the basic fact is, it is irreversible. Whatever sea rise is happening, it is irreversible. Under the worst scenarios, by 2100, we are expected to have a 0.7 meter rise in our coastal line communities, coastline, where, as we heard, approximately 1,000 kilometers of coastline with 10% of Pakistan's population there and 40% of industry. So you can very well imagine the impacts. As was discussed by Commodore Saab very ably, there's disturbance in the water cycle. Sea intrusion and coastal erosion. Now, this is something very specific to Pakistan, and allow me to take a second here. You know, disasters around the globe, there is one disaster after the other. But what we are experiencing here is a multitude of disasters taking place right at the moment. We have in the districts of Badin and Thatta sea intrusion, and it has not appeared on our radar as the other disasters have done so. And another very specific point to note is, as I said, they are irreversible. By the end of the century, they would not come back. Floods come and they recede. Droughts come and we try to cope with them. But sea level rise is going to remain there. Sea intrusion is going to remain there. So there are going to be disasters which have got very long-standing consequences. Just to be quick on the side, acidification is, I think, one of the most important impacts, environmental impacts we are having in our ocean. Heat waves, there have been incidences of heat waves, loss of biodiversity, and a list of climate-induced disasters. About 20 years back, we never heard of cyclones in Karachi. Now this is a recurring phenomena. We never heard of heat waves in Karachi. 2015 was the first year when more than 1,000 people perished. So the point I'm trying to make, marine disasters, they are irreversible, and the most impacted are the coastal communities. They are on the front line of these disasters. And I think we have not been successful in paying attention to these disasters and addressing them. And on top of all that, ladies and gentlemen, you must have heard of the plastic intrusion into the seas. And as the UN tells us, there's going to be more plastics in the sea than the fish. And I take this opportunity again to thank the Honorable Minister for taking a lead in this. I think we expect a lot of action in the coming years in this arena. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are all the disasters, and we have been trying to portray Pakistan as one of the impacted countries, but there's also an opportunity angle now, and it is in the form of our natural resource assets. So what I want you to concentrate on is the figure of 76.4 million tons of sequestration capacity. This is the assessment which we did with World Bank support. It is a published document. This is the capacity of carbon sequestration we have in our ocean. Now, this is an extremely huge natural resource, and if we keep the health of our oceans in good order, I think this would help us in addressing our national commitments, which I'm coming to next. Along with it, you would see that we have, if we our mangroves, Pakistan is again the only, most probably the only country in the world which has grown its mangroves since 1990s to a level larger than 300%. So it's a huge achievement for Pakistan. And if we restore their capacity, they have the capacity to sequester almost 0.3 million tons. And the last figure I just want you to concentrate is the in the last line, which is $75 million, which if we tag a price to this natural asset, it would be this much. This slide, I would like you to just see the natural resources in the marine environment we have. I think this is a huge asset we have, and we need to take care of this asset. We have drawn a roadmap to address this, which is reflected here. And with this, I would thank you and request Mr. Amjad to present the interactive atlas for monitoring climate change globally and in Pakistan. Thank you.